Hive Fleet Tigrex has finally grown to the point in which it can go toe-to-toe against other armies. Today, I go against the crazy church ladies, the Sisters of Battle. Hey guys, it's Sean. Today, I'm going to recap my 1000-point battle against the Sisters of Battle. I'm going to quickly preface this with a quick warning. There are plenty of rules we get wrong in this battle, and this wasn't really super competitive. Like, this game probably wasn't even legal. So if you're here to learn the secret Nick Nadavati plays on how to rank number 1 in the next LVO with NIDS, sadly, you're in the wrong place. That out of the way, let's get into the army I brought. It's a 1000-point list of Hive Fleet Kraken. It's led by a flying Hive Tyrant with monstrous rending claws and the heavy venom cannon. He has the monster size adaptive physiology with Psychic Scream and Onslaught. His main job is to be a real disruptive unit. Next we have the Broodlord. He's got the Resonance Barb and the Power Catalyst. His job is buffing up the Gene Stealers and being a huge beast in combat. Next we move on to the troops. We got a 10-man and a 5-man squad of Gene Stealers. The 10-man squad has the Adaptive Physiology Adrenal Webs for extra consolidation, a 12-man squad of Gaunts, and a 11-man squad of Gants with Devourers, and a 3-man squad of Tyranid Warriors with Bone Swords and Scything Talons. All pretty basic stuff here. We got the Gaunts and the Gants and the Warriors for objective holding. I'm going to try to be more cagey with my units. I don't want to give up the only units that can accomplish objectives. While I have the Gene Stealers moving up with the Broodlord to try and get people off objectives. Lastly, we get down to the nitty gritty with the heavy support. I have a Carnifex with a Tuskmorph, Spore Cyst, Crushing Claws, and the Scything Talons. Just a general distraction that will hopefully kill something if it gets into combat. Lastly, we round out the list with a surprise tech choice, the Moloch. With his special ability, he comes out of the ground getting as close as possible and dealing a ton of mortal wounds. His job is to get those pesky backline field objectives that only have 1 or 2 models holding them. This rounds out my list to 997 points, a pretty scary list if you aren't prepared for it. I think this list can play the objective pretty well while also holding its own. Will it do bad against the Marines? Yep. Am I going against Marines? Nope. I'm going against my buddy's Sisters of Battle. His list is pretty scary with tons of battle sisters to grab objectives and put the herd in. I'm pretty sure most of his squads had a melta-gun or 2. Some characters that are there to buff the other units, a full Dominion squad with full melta-guns to bring down any kind of heavy support, and then we have the also scary Repentia and Zephyr squads. These squads are super nasty that with the right support will tear through my army. Lastly, a Rhino to round out his list. This list looks pretty simple on paper to beat, but in actuality has a lot of shooting power and combat power, and a ton of melta that will melt all my monsters apart. Okay, so we move into the deployment phase. Again, we were hyped to play this battle, so funny enough, there weren't any secondaries, just primaries, but it was still a fun game. The mission we played was Ransack from the core rulebook. And here's what my deployment looked like. I placed the High Tyrant in the corner so that I wouldn't get shot with a billion bolter shots. The Gene Stealers are so far up that if I get first turn, then I would be able to slingshot them up. The Sisters deployed very aggressively, putting many of their units far up into the Melta range, and the Repentia and some characters are into the Rhino, while a Zephyr squad was in reserve. Alright, from looking at this deployment, it's looking pretty scary. I didn't expect to see so many bodies on the field. Even though I had 15 Gene Stealers, I didn't know if I had the numbers to deal with everything. I also realized there's a huge chance for the Sisters of Battle player to nuke my troop choices before I got the chance of scoring my primaries. We did a roll-off, and the Sisters of Battle were able to snatch first turn from me. So on to Sisters of Battle, turn 1. At the start of the turn, the Dominion squad moves up with their ability Vanguard, then moving up again to be in Melta range and killing range of my Carnifex. The Repentia and the characters get out of the Rhino, which again isn't legal at all, but again we were too hyped to have noticed. The Repentia ran straight up to my warriors preparing for a charge. At the start of the shooting phase, the Dominion squad brings my Carnifex down to 4 wounds. The other squads take down multiple Gaunts, Gants, and a singular Gene Stealer. The Repentia annihilate my warriors but consolidate into my Gene Stealers, which retaliate, bringing down the squad to 1 model. Alright, on to Tyranids Turn 1. Mostly just some positioning to get some good charges in while I play the objective. The Flyrant moves up and casts some smites while I misposition the Broodlord out of lookout stare, as my Gene Stealers will eventually get ahead of him. The Flyrant puts some of his heavy venom cannon shots into the Rhino to whittle it down a bit. Alright, multiple things get into combat here. First, the Carnifex walks out of the flames of the Melta guns and charges the Dominion squad, wiping the squad clean, which was very surprising. We have 5 Gene Stealers charging into 2 characters, but only coming out with 3 Gene Stealers left alive. The Flyrant charges into a sister squad and gets heroically intervened with the Canoness. And then the Flyrant wipes the sister squad, but leaves the Canoness alive. So on to Sisters of Battle turn 2. This turn's gonna hurt. A lot of moving into my face for the nasty melter range. Almost all the sister squads blast my Carnifex, Broodlord, and almost all my Gans. One of the Canonnesses misses a crucial charge against my Gaunts. Continuing on with combat, the Flyrant swiftly brings down the Canoness down to 1 wound and doing the stratagem Implant attack to finish her off. Immediately afterwards, I use the stratagem Overrun to reposition my Flyrant to the middle of the board. On to Tyranids turn 2, I gotta put some work in to try to kill off as many sister squads as possible. A couple of repositioning to try to get some key charges off. I also get to bring out my Moloch this turn, so I place them near an objective and close to some sisters and a Rhino, and I'm trying to get as many people in range for the mortar wounds. I then pop the Moloch specific stratagem Unexpected Incursion. I then pop a lot of sisters and brought the Rhino down to 1 to 2 wounds. The Flyrant tries to smite but gets denied by the stratagem Purity of Faith, but I was able to Psychic Scream a squad away. We are able to get some nasty charges this turn, the Gaunts into the Canoness, but the whole squad gets decimated. We move over to the Flyrant, which explodes the Rhino, dealing mortar wounds everywhere, leaving a single sister alive and crippling the other. The Gene Stealers get interrupted but only lose 1 casualty, and I finish off the sister squad in front of them. Oh, and that fight is still going. Alright, we move on to Sisters of Battle turn 3. Turn 3 for the sisters, and the Zephyr squad comes down right behind the Flyrant. The single sister escapes the clutches of death and escapes behind a building. The Zephyr squad brings down the Hive Tyrant to 2 wounds. This is not looking great for the Tyranids. Alright, I need to make something happen this turn or I'm going to get tabled. The Moloch runs over and kills the single sister to grab the objective. The Hive Tyrant has a really bad psychic phase, getting denied once again by the Purity of Faith, only Psychic Screaming 1 Zephyr to death. The Gene Stealers move up to support the Hive Tyrant in combat, but deal a total of 0 wounds, and the Hive Tyrant falls, and the other Gene Stealers die in combat, and this is not looking good for me. Alright, so we're getting down to the last turns, so this goes by pretty quickly. Turn 4 for the sisters, the Canoness runs over and kills my 2 other Gene Stealers, and the characters fail trying to kill my 2 Gaunts. Turn 4 for me, the Moloch does a charge on the Zephyr and the Canoness, but he doesn't do anything because the sisters were saved by a miracle dice. Lastly, turn 5 for the sisters, they literally wiped everything except 2 Gaunts in the back, and turn 5 I pass. Alrighty, the final score with just primary is 35 for the Tyranids and 20 for the Sisters of Battle. A very, very close victory. The sisters kept moving off objectives while I was quickly gaining multiple per turn. Again, it may have gone differently if I was playing with secondaries, but I'll take it. Okay, let's get into some post-game analysis, things that worked well for me this game. The Hive Tyrant definitely pulled his weight this game, with his crazy mobility and flex usage making him the star of the game. The Moloch was also a nice addition to my army this game. Him coming out to be a scary threat for my opponent to deal with was great, plus the mortar wounds were really nice. Alright, let's go over the bad. For one, the Gene Stealers felt really lackluster this game. There are some comments which I felt like I should have done something even though they didn't do anything. Lastly, we have the Broodlord, and I don't think he's bad at all. I just played that really badly. But overall, it was a very fun game. It's my first real game with my Nids, which was great to see them in action. But thanks again for all the support recently. It really keeps me motivated. So I will see you guys in the next video. Gotta testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day I die, I'ma touch the sky. Open Gangnam Style.